Good evening, everybody. I hope all of you are doing good. We are about to start today's webinar on how to make your career in an era of super specialization. So, all those of you who are there, please say hi on the chat bar so I know you know how to use the chat. So, it is Parisa. Hi, Parisa. Hi, Ashish. Hello, Abhinav. Hi, Shruti. So just keep those highs coming in. I just want to know all of you who are there for the webinar so we can make it more interactive. So as we wait for more people to join for the webinar, let's hear what some of you do and what kind of career plans do all of you have. So if you could type in what kind of career plans do you have, it'll help me better personalize this webinar for all of you. So guys, yes, there is a chat box right at the bottom. I want all of you to share your career plans. I want you to write down what do you want to become. I'm sure all of you have answered this question a lot of times as a child, as a kid, but now once again, it is time that we answer this question. What is it that you want to become? So right there on your chat window, I want to hear what is it that you want to become so that we can decide and we can plan together how to make your career in an era of super specialization. So as we wait for more people to join in, and yeah, do let me know that are you able to hear me? Am I audible? So yes, we have some answers coming in. So one of you says to be either in a management sector or maybe entrepreneurship at some point of time. Yeah, management is what everybody wants to be in, and entrepreneurship is the most exciting place to be. Yeah, so I'm not surprised that you want to be an entrepreneur. By the way, did you guys know that India now has the world's largest startup ecosystem? India is number one in the world for its startup ecosystem. For all of you out there, from any field or any discipline, you could look at entrepreneurship as a field. You just need to polish your skills and tap into this amazing ecosystem of startup world. And we have another answer, which is what after doing PG diploma in banking and finance would a candidate be transferred into a or we need to give interview? Uh, so this is more like a specific question, Gaurav. But no, there is no course in this world after which you will directly get into a job. If you want to do a job, you have to appear for an interview. You have to appear through a screening process where the company will try and see whether you match the job requirements. Doing any course, in the field of banking or in the field of medicine, law, any other field for that matter, whenever you do a course, the course will develop your skills and knowledge, and then the companies where you want to work will interview you. It is in the interview process that they will screen and see whether you're suitable for the job. So don't go into any course with wrong expectations. So we great. So we have a few more people joining in. Hi Shalini, hi Priya, hello Radha. So it's 4 5:45 43. We will wait for another 2 minutes before we start for anybody else who wants to join in. And for those of you who've joined later, I asked everybody a question, which is what is it that you want to become? What is it that you want to make your career in? What is it that you would like to work on? So if you have any of those answers, if you know what is it that you want to become, we have a chat window. Please find the chat window and type in there. We want this webinar to be as interactive as possible. We want to keep chatting during this webinar, and the medium of our chat is going to be the chat window. So all those of you who are there and are sure about what do you want to make your career in, please type in there. And don't worry if you are not sure. In case you don't know what you want to make your career in, just go there and say, I am unsure. I am pretty confident that by the end of this webinar today, you will have some clarity of thought. You would have some idea about what is it that you could aspire for. So if you're not sure about what the answer to my question is, just write, I am not sure. And it's 5:44, so we have the countdown on. In just about 10 seconds we will start the webinar. So anyone who wants to say a hi or anyone who wants to answer that question should type your answers now before I start the webinar. Okay guys, so it's time. Let's start the workshop. So our today's topic is how to make your career in an era of super specialization. This is part of our career guidance webinar series. And this career guidance webinar series is brought to you by TKWs Institute of Banking and Finance. As part of this workshop series, we organize career workshops. Through these workshops, we try and answer questions about careers. So whether you are somebody studying in school, college, or in the first decade of your career, yes, in this workshop, we address everybody who's in the first 10 years of your career with any kind of career queries that you might have. This is a great platform for TKWs IBF students, alumni, and anybody else from any other sector or field. In this workshop, we address a lot of aspects about your career which you may not have thought about. So our today's topic is how to make your career in an era of super specialization. And the questions that we will answer today are, should I become a generalist or specialist? So today this workshop is going to be about how to make your career in the era of super specialization. Second question that we are going to talk about is, which area should I choose? And third, what career steps should I take to achieve my chosen path? So if any of these questions resonate with you, if your questions are one of these, do type in the chat window so I know what is going on in your mind. So if you are also confused about whether you should become a generalist or specialist, don't worry, go there and type in. If you are confused about which area should you go into, please share your views, share your opinions here in the chat window. And if you are unsure, or if you have a question about what career steps should you take, do ask it here in the chat window. I'll make sure that by the end of this workshop today, all your queries are answered. Now, let me make you feel a little hungry. Yeah, it's 5:45. I'm sure time for evening snack. So let's look at all these delicious food items out there. The first thing that we have, is food. Yeah, vegetables. And that's how all of us started. Our journey, our experience with food started with raw vegetables, basic cooking, and a lot of nutrition. But then, in different regions in India started specializing, and we had something called a North Indian food, and we had something called a South Indian food. Yes, plain old vegetables got specialized, and we started eating North Indian or South Indian food. After some time, a few years ago, people in North India would also want to try South Indian food sometimes, and vice versa. But then this did not stay. The North Indian food further got specialized into Punjabi food, Rajasthani food, Delhi food, Mughlai food, So the North Indian food got specialized into so many different types of food. And the same was the case with South Indian food. The South Indian food became Chettinad cuisine, Andhra cuisine, Udupi cuisine, and whatnot. So all the food that we had in North India became super specialized. And all the food that we had in South India became super specialized by regions, flavors, tastes. This is happening in every sphere of our life. Can you think of some areas where specialization is coming besides food? So I want to know whether all of you are actually watching this webinar, and I want you to share some answers out there about what other areas are we specializing in. So I shared with you food is one area in which people are getting specialized. But other than food, which are the areas in which specialization is coming, and which are the areas in which super specialization is happening? So I am waiting for some answers there. I want to know a few areas that you think are getting specialized. No answers. Are you confused? Are you unsure? Do you want me to share the answer? Okay, we have an answer. Doctors. And Manish, who's joined us, says cars. Yes, yes, Manish, right. Cars are becoming super specialized. We have different cars for different purposes. We have different cars for different occasions. We have different cars for different technology and use cases. So yes, cars are getting specialized. Doctors are getting specialized, and clothes are also getting specialized. Yeah, so you have formal wear, winter wear, you have party wear, you have casual wear, you have night wear. So we have so many specializations in clothes. And technology, for sure, technology is getting specialized. Now we have a whole stream of people using Android and iOS. Yes, Ashish, thank you so much. Mobile phones are getting specialized. So we have satellite phones, to be used on a ship where there's no mobile tower. We have the Volte technology, which is used by Reliance Jio, and we have the traditional GSM technology. And let's not forget the very traditional landline technology. And now we have WhatsApp phones, so phones are getting specialized. So those are some of the areas where specialization is happening. So basically, specialization is coming into each and every sphere of our life. So as we already discussed, cars are getting specialized, phones are getting specialized, clothes are getting specialized, and even houses are getting specialized. So every aspect of our life, a lot of specialization and super specialization is coming in. Do you think your career also should specialize? Do you think people need to specialize in their careers as well? What do you think? Yes, no? Say yes if you feel that even careers should be specialized. Yeah, so we have two people saying yes. Do we have anybody else who feels careers should be specialized? Yeah. Anybody who says no, careers should be generalized. We should not get into specialized careers. Yeah, so we have everyone saying yes, yes, yes. Manish says yes, specialized contribution creates a difference. So that's very true. When you have a specialized contribution, you're able to differentiate lives of people. Able to add differentiated value. So as I see that most of you already agree that careers should be specialized. So you would also agree that your career needs to specialize. All of you would probably answer to this question in a yes, that you need a specialized career. But let's go a little deeper. Is it really true that we need a specialized career, or being generalized is a better approach? I have this query because a lot of students that I teach, they want generalized jobs. A lot of people that I teach after MBA in HR do not want to get into recruitments, do not want to get into training. They want to get into a generic HR role. Similarly, a lot of students that I teach finance to, they want to get into generalized finance. They don't want to specialize in an area of finance. Marketing, again, people want to get into a generic marketing role instead of specializing. So plenty of people, especially in the management discipline, are confused between being generalized or being specialized. So let's try and investigate what is a better option for your career. Do you know this guy? Now let's see how smart are you at visual intelligence, and guess the name of this guy. There are some visual cues out there in that picture, and I want to see how smart are you. Shruti thinks it's Arjun. Do others also think that? Or do you think it is somebody else? Who is the person in this picture? So, are you Googling it? I expect you to look at the picture. There is some important visual cue in there in the picture, and tell me that who is the person in this picture. Is it Arjun or is it somebody else? Okay, so Clarissa says it could be Ram. Anybody else? Any other guesses? How about Ravan? Chandragupta Maurya? Wow. Okay, so let's end this guessing. Someone from Ramayan. No, guys. So Shruti was right. This guy in the picture is Arjun, and this is a picture from the famous Swamvar, in which Arjun ends up marrying Draupadi. So he's supposed to look at the impression of fish in the water bowl kept underneath and fire his arrow. So this famous picture allows us to know who is Arjun. Now, out of billions of people born in this universe, what is it that makes Arjun so popular? It is his super specialization. If you realize, the world has got many warriors. There've been plenty of very ferocious warriors. There've been many great warriors, some of which you've tried to answer here. Sri Ram was a great warrior. Chandragupta Maurya was an amazing warrior. Alexander was a great warrior. But moment we see this picture, we know that this person is Arjun, because amongst all these warriors, the greatest archer was Arjun. So amongst all the warriors in Mahabharata as well, Arjun had his own space. He was known to be the greatest archer. Now, that is super specialization. If you are a super specialist in something, you can be the best in that, and you can be the best known in that across the world. So super specialization creates a space for us to become number one. Now, let's say you are trying to become a doctor, or maybe you're trying to become a teacher, or maybe you're trying to become a marketing professional, or a banker, or a accountant. You could be trying to become an astronaut. So there are so many professions you could be doing, but any of these professions that you choose, there are going to be plenty of people already doing it. If you want to shine out in that space, if you want to be the number one guy in that space, if you want to be on top of that space, you have to identify your area of super specialization in your chosen profession. So we know that there are a lot of doctors, but there is one Dr. Trihan who is known to be the most famous heart surgeon. Now, why did Dr. Trihan become so popular? Because he chose an area of super specialization when everybody wanted to be a generic doctor. So similarly, in the field of law, there are super specialist lawyers who specialize in a particular discipline. Similarly, in the field of Scientists, there are few scientists like Dr. Abdul Kalam who stood out for something, who created a super specialization and became known for that. Go in any field and you would find that certain people who have risen above everybody else have gone there because they chose an area of super specialization. So guys, that is why there is no debate to this question. Being a super specialist is the way to make an outstanding career. If you really want to stand out in the world, if you really want to do something great in the world, if you want to be known for something, then you have to identify and build your area of super specialization. So this I'm saying to all the students out there and all the working professionals who are in the first decade of their career. Now is the time, it's time that you identify your super specialization and start working to build it up. So 3 reasons you should specialize. One, when you become a super specialist, you get superior knowledge and skills. So when you keep learning something and you keep specializing in that, your knowledge and skills in that area of niche is better than anybody else in the world. So within whatever field you are, it could be retail, it could be sales. Make sure that you identify a super specialization, and this super specialization will enable you to get superior knowledge and skills. This superior knowledge and skills will make you stand out in your field, and that will lead to more demand for you. People will demand you. So whichever organization you're working in, your demand in that organization will be much higher. If you are looking for a job, all the employers would go out seeking you. So you will never have to worry about whether I will get a job or not, because your super specialization will always make you stand out and get you superior job opportunities. You will be the guy who's in demand. And it's not only that, while being in demand, you will get higher paid. If you are a generalist, you'll be paid like anybody else. But if you are a super specialized guy, then your pay will be superior. You will be paid higher than everybody else because of that specialization, because of that extra edge that you bring to the table. So 3 reasons to specialize, to become a specialist, are: you'll have superior knowledge and skills, you will be more in demand, so you'll never have to worry about a job, and you will get higher pay than anybody else. But what is the risk of staying a generalist? What if you stay a generalist? You don't specialize. You become a master of all trades. You go into that job and yet you can do anything required, but you don't have an area of specialization. There is one big risk that you are taking by being a generalist, that is the risk of artificial intelligence. Yes guys, a lot of current jobs are going to be replaced in years to come with artificial intelligence and automatic robots. A lot of jobs that people are doing will in future, in next 5 years, be done by robots or by computer softwares. And if in case your job, your activity, the work that you do gets automated without any super specialization, you will be sacked from that job. So plenty of people in the world are going to lose their jobs in the next decade, and they will have to look at reskilling themselves, re-preparing themselves for a different kind of a job role in an AI world. So the risk of staying a generalist is that there are too many people doing this activity, and because there are so many people doing that activity, companies have an incentive to automate that activity and reduce their salary burdens. Whereas if you are a specialist, then there are few people doing that job and the incentive to automate that job is not there. So if you want to future proof your job, if you want to future proof your career, if you want to be sure that you'll continue to be employed, super specialization is a great idea. And the risk of staying a generalist is the risk of losing your current job. So where do you specialize in? Now, to find out what should your specialization be, you have to discover what is it that you love to do. So here, this Venn diagram, you see, the blue circle is the area which is what you love to do. The fact that you're doing a banking course or a finance course or an MBA finance or an MBA in marketing or a BCom or a BBA, means you have some interest in that area, and by chance you are in a wrong area of interest. It is time to introspect and identify what is it that you love to do, because you cannot specialize. Believe me, you cannot specialize in an area that you don't like. So the first requirement to become a super specialist is that you have to have passion for the field in which you're trying to specialize. So identify what is it that you love to do, what are the things that you like to do. What is that job which you will be willing to do even if you don't get paid for it. Yeah, like me right here, doing this webinar for you. I love guiding all of you about your career. I'm not getting paid to do this workshop. This workshop is free for anybody, whether he's a TKWsIBF student or not. This workshop is free for all the career aspirants. This workshop is free for everybody who's into a job, but we're doing it free because we love doing it. We love guiding you. We really want you to be successful. So similarly, like us, like all the career advisory team in TKWsIBF, which loves guiding students to the right path, I want all of you to think about what is it that you love to do? What is it that you're passionate about? So if you are able to identify your area of passion, your area of love, then you have to figure out what is it that has value for others, because you might want to just laze around. I know some people who just love sleeping. So when what you love to do is great, but it does not add any value for others. So amongst many things that you love to do, there would be some things which add value to others. There would be some things which will be valuable for others. So if you love guiding people about what can they do with their money, then banking is a great career, because it allows people to manage their money better. If what you love doing is reading and researching about companies, then stock trading could be a great value for the world. If you love solving problems, then entrepreneurship could be a great value. If you love arguing, then law could be a great avenue. So identify, of all the things that you love to do, what are the things that have value for others. Can you think of some things which you love to do and which add value to others? Can you share it here in the chat? So we've been very quiet on the chat side for a few minutes. Let's hear from you. What is it that you love to do and it adds value for others? Can we have some answers on that? What are the things that you love doing and what are the things which add value to others? Okay, so we have Manish who says he loves investment banking. Now, for those of you who may not understand investment banking that well, it is a career in which you help companies in raising capital. So, as an investment banker, you would help an organization raise capital by suggesting very rich organizations or individuals how to invest that money. So investment banking could be a great area of specialization, super specialization, because India has a need to build a lot of very large companies, and building these large companies requires specialized efforts. So yes, that could be an area of super specialization. Is there anything else that you love doing and it can add value for others? Like what we love doing at TKW's IBF is teaching students, and it does add a lot of value to students. So what is it that you love doing? Okay, so we have Nitin who says he loves mutual funds. So yeah, if you have a love for mutual funds, you could super specialize in advising people on what mutual funds to invest, or you could super specialize in creating funds, managing funds, so that you can build a super mutual fund for the future. So both ways, mutual funds could be an area that you super specialize in. But I would say we have to go beyond mutual funds, and we have to specify that in mutual funds, this is what I love doing, and this is what will add value to people. Yeah, Parisa, I understand that you're new to all topics, and that is what I'm going to answer in my next slide. So now that okay, we have Ankita who says she loves doing teaching, and yes, teaching does add a lot of value to others. So if this is what you love doing and this is where you see value getting added, then you need to find out areas within your space to specialize. There are plenty of investment bankers out there, there are plenty of mutual fund advisors out there are plenty of teachers out there. we are not yet we are not yet ready to super specialize if this is how we define our careers. So once we have a chosen career, we need to find out a field to super specialize. Okay, so we have Dhruv who says, love talking to people to understand the industry better. So this shows your curiosity, this shows your inquisitiveness, and this shows your people friendliness. This is what you love doing, and this can create value for others by mapping it with the field of super specialization. So basically, what you need to do is figure out an area of super specialization that you love doing and it adds value to people. And then the third step, the third thing that you have to do is, this is a famous quote from my famous authors: to double your earning, triple your investment in learning. Robin Sharma. Robin Sharma is the guy who's written books like The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, Leadership Without a Title, Family Wisdom, Mega Living, 5 a.m. Club. So he's a successful author, has sold billions of books. And what he often says is that to double your earning, triple your investment in learning. So if you want to super specialize and you have been able to identify or not identify your area of super specialization, you need to now start learning. The more you will learn, the more knowledge and more skills you will acquire, you will increase your specialization. So even if you are 5 years into a job, this is no time to stop learning. Each one of you, whether you are a student of school, college, graduation, post-graduation, MBA, work, whatever you're doing right now, you have to build your super specialization by investing time in learning. So all of us need to do continuous learning, and the strategy for your learning is going to be this. So first, you start with a generic education. So when you say, okay, I want to get into the field of finance, or I want to get into the field of law, or I want to get into the field of medicine, you don't know much about what are the avenues in this field, what are the opportunities in this field, what is the scope of specializing in this field. So at graduation level or at +2 level, you should start with a generic education in your chosen field. Now, while you are taking that generic education, stay open to all aspects of specialization. It is not necessary to narrow down your super specialization right now. So while you're doing graduation, just remain open and try to keep as many options as possible open for you, so that as you discover more career avenues, as you understand the specializations, you are able to focus your attention on a chosen area. Now, once you've done graduation and you are either working or you are looking for a course for higher studies, now is the time to take up a specialized education. So the 3 years of your graduation or your undergraduate studies should have given you enough knowledge. You should have explored enough, you should have asked enough questions during the 3 years of undergraduate studies about what could be my next career specialization. So after graduation, nobody, believe me, none of you should go into generic education once again. Graduation is more than enough, and now is the time to start taking specialized education. So you need to narrow down your focus and say, after graduation, this is the field I am going to specialize in. Now, If you graduated in medicine, then now is the time to choose whether you want to get into surgery, you want to become a general practitioner, do you want to become a child specialist, do you want to become a gynecologist. If you're a lawyer after graduation, now is criminal. Post graduation, you have to now start thinking about what specialized education you want in the field of finance. That is what we all are good at TKWsIBF. In the field of finance, there are two major categorizations. One is the corporate side of finance, wherein you would become an accountant, you would become a finance department manager, and you could grow on from there. And the second side of finance is the financial services, which is what we call as the banking and financial services. So after graduation, you need to choose that if you want to make a career in finance, is it going to be in the corporate finance or is it going to be in the financial services? Now, all the great finance opportunities, the best of the finance wealth creation happens in financial services, in the banking, in the mutual funds, in the investment banking space, in the security market space. So it is up to you to choose how do you want to specialize. But then after graduation, you should not do something generic, but you should go for specialized education wherein you can specialize in one stream. But then that doesn't end with post graduation. Your education, your career doesn't end after your post graduation. After post graduation, you have to focus on super specialization. Yes, once you start working, it is time to start working on an area of super specialization. And your post graduation should give you enough exposure into 3 or 4 areas of super specialization. And once you complete your post graduation and you're working in one of those 3 4 areas, you have to start building your super specialization. For super specialization, you can take up online education, you can join weekend courses, you can work for a few years and then take a sabbatical to do higher studies and create an area of super specialization. So say for example, after post graduation, if you move into financial services, now is the time to decide what is going to be my area of super specialization in financial services. So in financial services, if you super specialize in foreign exchange, which is one of the many financial services offered, then you have to do higher studies, you have to do online courses, you have to do global certifications, and try and gather as much knowledge and skills as possible within the space of foreign exchange. Now, few years you become a specialist in foreign exchange, but then that is not the time to stop. After 5 years of your career, if you are a specialist of foreign exchange, you need to further go deeper and build your super specialization on either retail forex or corporate forex or international forex or trade forex. So within each specialization and within each super specialization, there can be further sub specializations. And once you become the super specialist of that space, so that is when you are ready to be the Arjun of your space. So if you choose banking today and you choose investment banking tomorrow, then you should not stop there. After you've chosen investment banking, you have to choose investment banking in fundraising through equity for the manufacturing industry, or investment banking through debt capital raising for the services sector. So you have to continue building your super specialization, and your career has to finally converge into one role in which there are not more than 50 or 100 people in the world, and you are the best specialist of that role in the entire world. That will be the apex of your career. That is when you will be the Arjun, you will be the Ram, you will be the top guy of your field. And that is what I want for all of you. So if you have the same plans for your career, if you want to build your career in that direction, please be with me. And keep coming back for these workshops, and I will make sure that all your career questions are answered. Okay, so we have some question here from Prem. He says, I want to make a career in banking, so what to do? So as I was saying, Prem, you want to make a career in banking, the most important thing is that you have to get the relevant knowledge, the relevant qualifications, and the relevant skills for the banking space. But then banking for me is generic. You have to not only say I want to make a career in banking, you have to specialize in banking. You have to say that I want to make a career in wealth banking, or I want to make a career in business banking, or I want to make a career in corporate banking or trade banking. You have to get super specialized in the field of banking. I know it will be a little difficult for you to choose that right now because you don't understand all these options. But what you need to do is get into a banking career, get into a banking space which allows you to learn about all of these, so that you can narrow down your focus and then start focusing and super specializing. So Prem, I hope I have been able to answer that question. Anybody else who has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them before we end this webinar today. uh, any questions, you can type it down there. And okay, sir, how you choose your career? Okay, so Shruti, you want to understand how should you choose a career? So as I said, you have to A, identify what is it that you love doing. B, you have to see that what you love doing, will it add value for people? If yes, then that is the right career for you. I know a lot of students choose their careers based on what their family members say, or what their relatives advise them, or what is in trend. But I think this is not the right way of choosing a career. None of you should choose your career because something is in vogue, something is in trend. You should choose a career into something which is what you love doing, which is what you're passionate about, and you think that this will add value to others. And no career can be bad career as long as you continue to become a super specialist in this. You should be so good in your area of super specialization that if there is only one job available in that area, it should be you. So Parisa wants to know how to go about learning, like what all to do, what can be the steps to get good knowledge. So learning is two things. One is learning about the various careers so that you can narrow down your focus. The best thing to do that is join a specialization. Take up a specialized course which will allow you to discover different types of careers in your field. Now, once you have chosen a career, how to go about learning for that career? So that's not a big problem. Internet is full of resources. I am doing this webinar, like me. Plenty of people do webinars about different things. There are a lot of open learning courses available on MOOC. There are online digital learning courses. You can watch YouTube videos. So there's a lot of resource available to gather knowledge about your chosen specialization. So say for example, you're doing a course in banking and finance, and now you want to learn more about mutual funds. So you can just go online, look up for a video saying the best mutual funds, or how to choose the best mutual fund, or how to compare the performance of mutual funds, and you'll get plenty of resources to improve your knowledge. If you are a doctor and you want to get a sense of how to become a better child specialist, there are journals available which you can subscribe to. There are global journals, there are videos, there are internet resources which will educate you on how to be a better child specialist. So there are resources available. What is important is that you discover your area of super specialization, which is not a one step activity. So at graduation level, try to keep a little broad focus. At post graduation level, narrow down that focus. After post graduation, further narrow it down, and keep narrowing it as you grow. One day you will be on the apex of your career, and that is the ultimate objective. That is what would make me happy. And the day you achieve that, I would like to hear it from you, that this is what you did and this is where you reached. So if you find any value in what we are discussing, do share your experiences with us in the comments, in the chat, or in the YouTube screen which you're seeing right here. Okay, Ankita wants to know, can you suggest how to apply our learning in our routine to make it more specialized? Yeah, that's a very important thing. I in fact do a separate webinar for that, but then the answer is one step at a time. So all the learning is useless if it doesn't translate into actions. Once you learn something, you have to practice that for a few days till it becomes habit. Once something becomes a habit, you start doing it naturally, and that's when you move on to the next learning. And once that becomes a habit, you move on to the third one after the other, step by step. Over the next few years, when you keep specializing in an area, you would start becoming a pro and an expert and a specialist and then a super specialist, and then finally the Arjun of your career. That is what we all are aiming for. Let us see all of you become the Arjuns of one super specialization that you choose. So it's been a great time interacting with all of you. You've been an exceptionally interactive audience. I wish you all a very happy career. I wish you all a very successful and prosperous career. Follow us for more of these webinars. Our Facebook URL is facebook.com/TKWsIBF. Our YouTube URL, YouTube channel is TKWsIBF, and our Twitter is TKWsIBF. So we have a lot of these webinars about building your career lined up for you in months to come. If you want regular updates about these career webinars, if you want to follow these career webinars, then follow us on our social channels and we will keep you posted there. Thank you so much. I wish all of you a very happy and a successful career. Have a great day. Thank you.